Hello, everybody. So this is your very first social studies video. We are going to watch several short videos all in one video lesson together. This is what your newspaper is going to look like. So you will get an actual copy of this to work with. It's got all of the same articles in it that you're going to see on the video, and on the back that has your questions that you're going to do your work on. So that's what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera and then share my screen so we can get started. Okay, here we go.
Welcome to Studies Weekly in the second grade. Way to go. I hope you had some fun on your breaks. Frank and I took some time off too. We visited some really neat places. You're getting older, so now we can teach you even more amazing things. Let's explore your Studies Weekly. This is what your publication looks like. There are facts to... Frank, my bad. Let's try this again. There are facts to learn, places for you to write in your Studies Weekly, and fun things to do. You can even go online, watch videos, learn more neat stuff, and play games. I look forward to seeing you all this year as we learn exciting new things. Guys got some moves. This is a dance off. We'll see you next time, and keep learning.
People need maps to help them get places. Without maps, people would get lost. Can you help Revere the rat use a map to find the beach?
Today, we're going to learn about locating places by using a map. This is a map of Tennessee. We can use maps to locate different places. On this map, we can see Knoxville, Memphis, Chattanooga, and Nashville. All four of these cities have zoos. Let's say we live in Franklin, which is right there. If we wanted to visit the closest zoo, where would we go? We would go north to Nashville. What if we wanted to visit a zoo and the Mississippi River? Where would we go? We would go southwest to Memphis. Sure, we could go to the zoo in Nashville and then go to Memphis, but it probably makes the most sense to go to Memphis and see both at the same time. Now, what if we wanted to go to the highest point in Tennessee, which is Clingman's Dome, right over here, and the zoo? Well, going to Memphis probably doesn't make sense. You could go to Nashville and then east to Clingman's Dome, but you would also pass through Knoxville, which also has a zoo. You could go southeast to Chattanooga and then northeast to Clingman's Dome, but your return trip west to Franklin would take you through Knoxville again. Maps can help you make the best decision on where to go and how to get there. See you next time, and keep learning.
Okay, so here is a picture of a map. There's Canada and the United States, and then there's Mexico, and this has all the different states on it. And this is a photograph of Laguna Beach. And here is an older map. It's a map of Texas. All right, so that was the first article on the front of your paper. Okay, so now we're going to go to the inside of your newspaper, and we're gonna do a few more articles. So, let me share my screen. And I'm gonna turn off my camera. Ooh, hold on, I think I have to do that first. Now I'm gonna turn this on. Here we go.
Globes can show the continents, countries, and bodies of water on Earth. Look at the globe. It shows the continent of North America. A continent is a large area of land. Do you remember that the United States, Canada, and Mexico are countries in North America? Find the Caribbean islands on the globe. They are part of North America too.
Today, we're going to learn about models. Models are replicas of something. Usually it's something that's very large, made much smaller, like a car or the Statue of Liberty. Sometimes we use models to make small things bigger, like an atom or an insect. You probably have a model in your classroom. A globe. It's a 3D model of the Earth. Our planet Earth is a sphere, just like this globe. A model keeps everything the same, but makes it all smaller. The distance between the continents and the lengths of the rivers and mountain ranges are all just like on our planet. Of course, if you were looking at Earth from space, you won't see lines like on the globe. These lines tell us where the countries are located. Also, our globes don't show us where clouds or storms are. That would be pretty cool, though. What else can you learn from globes? Give it a spin and discover new places. See you next time and keep learning. Like me. I better be careful.
A globe is a kind of map, one of the best kinds actually. Since it's round like the Earth, it shows the size and shape of the continents very precisely. It's one of the most accurate representations of what our world really looks like. It makes sense then that people would want to use globes more often than maps. But a globe is really hard to fit into your back pocket or in the glove box in the car. That's why we have flat maps. They're similar to globes and can show all the same things, like lines of longitude and latitude. But since they're flat instead of round, they distort the size and shape of the continents, especially near the North and South poles. The closer you get to the poles, the more distortion you see. Sometime compare a globe and a map side by side. You'll see the world looks a little different when it's stretched and flattened out. Before the 1400s, there weren't many attempts to make maps. However, by the late 1400s, a German merchant and navigator named Martin Behnam produced a globe that showed the world as Europeans knew it. His globe didn't have the Americas on it, of course, because they hadn't been discovered yet. It was in the shape of a sphere, however, since many people knew the world was round. Behnam's globe was completed at a time when European countries were becoming more interested in exploring the world. Making accurate maps of newly discovered lands and having good maps to follow were very important. Of course, these maps weren't quite like the ones we have. Some of them included drawings of people standing on the land and ships sailing on the ocean. During the 1600s and 1700s, the colonization of the New World created the opportunity and need for many new maps. The Spanish surveyed and mapped the lands under their control. Captain John Smith published a map of Virginia's coastline and New England. Samuel Champlain of France mapped the area from Maryland to the St. Lawrence River in Canada. As time passed, maps of the New World became more accurate and complete.
I just watched this one.
Before the 1400s,
Yes, we did, sorry. We just watched that one. All right, so. This picture will not come up for some reason. So is it just not working? All right, let's go to the next article then about globe shapes.
Did you know that a globe helps to accurately see what the Earth is shaped like? Unlike a map, a globe is a 3D model of the Earth. The shape of a globe is a sphere, and that's the same shape as our planet. Even though a globe is much smaller than the Earth, the distance and direction on a globe are still accurate when sized down. A globe is just a smaller representation of our amazing planet.
Today, we're going to learn about maps and globes. Maps and globes are very similar. They can both show us how far one place is from another, and they can both show us where mountains, rivers, deserts, and cities are located. A map is flat, and it's usually used to show us places up close. A globe is round. It's a model of the Earth. One of the neat things about globes is we can see where we are in relation to other places. It's a model of the Earth that has been shrunken down for us to see. This is North America. North America consists of Canada, the United States, and Mexico. If you want to see how far we are from, let's say, China, we would simply turn the globe. And there it is. I got it. I better go help Frank. See you next time, and keep learning. Maps are full of information about the world we live in, and different kinds of maps can help us see different information. Political maps show us the boundaries and borders of different countries or states, and can even include cities and towns too. Physical maps show us the physical characteristics of the land, like mountains, rivers, lakes, and canyons. Road maps show the freeways, highways, and byways that crisscross the area, while climate maps show where the rain falls and what the temperatures are like. Globes are actually a type of map, and really, they are the most accurate type because they're three-dimensional and shaped just like the Earth. That means that the land doesn't have to be distorted to make everything lay flat. A globe is great for understanding hemispheres, time zones, and imaginary lines like the equator or the international date line. But they're less great for traveling or seeing places close up. No matter what kind of map you choose, they all have several tools to help people use them. The compass rose shows the cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west. The map key explains the symbols that can be found on the map. For example, gas stations might be represented by a fuel pump, or campgrounds might be shown using a picture of a tent. Finally, you may notice that many maps are covered in lines, like a grid. Lines of latitude are called parallels and run east to west, parallel to the equator. Lines of longitude are called meridians, like the prime meridians, and run north to south. The squares created by these imaginary lines help us measure distance and record locations like streets and addresses do. Maps and globes are amazing tools.
Okay, there's a picture of several different kinds of globes. This one looks old compared to this one. And here's another globe. And that leads us into our next article on page 3 on types of maps.
There are many kinds of maps. Road maps, like REVs, have drawings of roads to help people with directions. Political maps show a whole state or country. Cities are usually marked by a star or a dot on a political map. Physical maps show physical features like lakes, rivers, mountains, and oceans. There are even maps of the world. World maps can be flat or can be on a round globe.
Today, we're going to learn about different types of maps. There are political maps, physical maps, road maps, all sorts of maps. And they all serve a different purpose, so the map you choose can make a big difference. You want the right tool for the job. I mean, you'd never use a bulldozer to hang Christmas lights. That would just be silly. Who would ever do that? You would use a ladder. A political map shows us the dividing line between countries, states, and counties. They have roads listed and show large bodies of water like lakes and oceans. However, a political map doesn't show geographic features like mountains and deserts. That's what a physical map is for. It is full of landforms. We probably wouldn't use either of those maps to drive anywhere. That's what a road map is for. It tells us about all the roads we can take and how far apart places are from each other. Not only is it important to have the right tool for the right job, but it helps if you know how to use them too. See you next time and keep learning.
Did you know that there are many different types of maps? Some are really big and show things like the planet Jupiter, while others are small enough to only show a single city block. We can learn all sorts of things from maps. Some maps are topographical, which means they show us what areas of the world are like, how tall the mountains are, where there are rivers, and more. Other maps are political and show where the borders of different nations and cities are. There are also maps that lead you from place to place by showing you where the roads lead. The right map will open the world for you. You might be wondering what's different from a map and a photograph. A map must be drawn by someone called a cartographer. They decide what type of map it's going to be, where it's going to show, and how it looks. It's a really important job to have, and cartography has been around for thousands of years. How many different types of maps have you seen?
So here is a map of the United States, and you see how like all of the states are separated. And then even like you can see, especially here in Texas and the Midwest, you can see the counties that have been separated. Then we have a physical map. You can see where it shows us the rivers and the lakes and the ocean. And over here we have mountains. There's some more mountains over here, and then we have deserts. Here's a map of the Mississippi River and all of the rivers that run into the Mississippi River. And here's a political map. It shows all of the states separated by lines. And then a world map. You can see the lines of latitude and longitude and all of the continents, and the continents are also separated by all the different countries. All right, so let's go to the next article about directions.
A compass rose can be found on most maps. This symbol shows the directions north, south, east, and west. Complete the compass rose by writing the directions where they belong.
Okay, so you actually have this on page 3 of your newspaper, and you're gonna write it on the newspaper. It looks just like this, and you're gonna write the directions where they belong: north, south, east, west.
Today, we're going to learn about directions. We have many tools to help us with directions. One of those is the compass rose. Oh, hey, Frank, come on over and help me out with this. A compass rose tells us directions on a map. You know where north is on a compass rose. You know where south is. And there's east and there's west. But there are 4 more directions on a compass rose. There's northeast. It's between north and east. There's southeast, which is between east and south. There's also southwest and northwest. That's a compass rose. Where did you get all those extra arms? I don't know. See you next time, and keep learning.
Okay, so for some reason that picture is not showing up either. Here's a picture of a compass. And then here's a picture of a really old compass. Now keep in mind, a compass is something that you can physically hold in your hand. A compass rose is something that is on a flat map or a globe. It is not a physical thing that you can hold in your hand like a compass is. All right, so on the back page, the last page of your newsletter, you have some activities. This is the first one.
How could you use a globe to plan a trip? Write a sentence.
Okay, so let me stop sharing for a second and turn my video back on. So on the back of your newsletter, you have that exact question right here. How could you use a globe to plan a trip? You're going to write 1 or more sentences to answer that question right here. Okay. All right, let's get back to the video.
What kind of map would you use for directions to another town?
All right, so if you were going to travel to, say, Nashville, which map would you use? Would we use, what's a picture of, look, there's a speed limit sign. And this is the name of the road. It's Route 66. Okay. And so would we use this kind of map that shows the interstates and the roads? Here's another road map. Look at all of these interstates and roads and big roads in Texas. And then, so this is the national road that goes from all the way from the coast, all the way over into Illinois. Doesn't look like it shows very many roads though. That looks like it might be a train, like a railroad line. All right, so you are going to write and tell me what kind of map would you use for directions to another town. So remember, your choices were physical map, political map, road map. Those are the three main choices. And then the last thing on the bottom of the back page.
Can you help Rev get back home from the beach? Make a road map to help him. Write a sentence to explain your map.
So you were gonna do this in the big box on the bottom. Show you what I'm talking about again. Okay, so right here on the bottom, it says, can you help Rev get back home from the beach? Make a road map to help him. So you're going to draw your own road map from the beach back to your house and then write a sentence explaining how Rev the rat can use your map. Okay. Okay, so let's look, here's a map of Indiana. Lots of streets and interstates and roads. Here's a really old map from 1908. It's over 100 years ago. Ooh. So this is about. I don't think that has anything to do with the map. I don't think that's in the right one. Well, these are about rats, and Rev is a rat, so that kind of makes sense. Maybe this is Rev or rat. I like that. Okay. So that was your first social studies lesson. Remember, these are due by the end of the week, so make sure you get it turned in by Friday afternoon. And good luck. Hope you guys enjoyed the videos. Bye.